You've heard it 1,000 times. Wild animals are more afraid of you than you are of them. In survival handbooks and nature documentaries, this is the golden rule. We are taught that our presence, our scent, and our upright posture act as a natural deterrent. But what if I told you that for some of the world's most efficient killers, that rule is nothing more than a deadly misconception? Imagine standing in the silent, frozen reaches of the Arctic, or the dense, humid tall grass of the Sundarbans. In these places, you aren't the top of the food chain. You are an anomaly, a slow-moving, soft-skinned creature that lacks claws, fangs, or speed. To a predator that hasn't eaten in a week, you aren't a human to be feared. You are simply the most accessible source of protein in their territory. After my last video on why animals often ignore sleeping humans, the debate in the comments exploded. Thousands of you brought up the terrifying exceptions, the animals that don't just defend themselves, but actively track, stalk, and consume humans. Today, we are dissecting the predatory curve. We will explore the thin line where an animal's natural caution turns into a calculated hunt. Why do some run, while others wait for the perfect moment to strike? But before we reveal the dark science behind the man-eaters, I have a challenge for you. Look closely at the predator on your screen right now. If you believe your instincts are sharp enough to survive a direct encounter with it, comment survivor. If you're honest enough to admit you'd be at its mercy, comment prey. Let's see who really understands the wild. I am building the most in-depth archive of animal psychology and survival science on YouTube. If you want to master the secrets of the natural world, knowledge that could literally save your life one day, hit that subscribe button right now and join the Bright Psycho family. Knowledge is your only weapon in the wild. Don't be caught without it. Part 1. Genetic memory, the evolution of fear. To understand why a wolf or a mountain lion usually flees at the sight of a human, we have to look back 10,000 years. This is the era of genetic memory. For millennia, humans have been the most successful and violent predators on Earth. We didn't just hunt for food. We cleared entire landscapes of anything that threatened our tribes. Over generations, the animals that survived were the ones that learned to stay away from us. This fear became hard-coded into their DNA. When a North American black bear smells a human, it doesn't think, "Is that a threat?" It simply reacts to an ancient biological alarm bell that says, "Danger, unpredictable, avoid." In the wild, even a minor injury, a broken paw or a deep scratch, is a death sentence. It means the animal can no longer hunt, which means it will starve. Most predators are risk-averse. They would much rather hunt a familiar prey like a deer, whose movements they can predict, than risk a confrontation with a two-legged creature carrying a stick, a rock, or a firearm. To them, you are a high-risk, unknown variable. This is why, in 90% of encounters, the animal chooses the path of least resistance and vanishes into the brush. Part 2. The apex exceptions, when fear does not exist. But then, there are the exceptions, the animals that live outside the boundaries of human influence. Take the polar bear. This is the largest land carnivore on the planet, and its psychology is fundamentally different from a forest-dwelling wolf. Polar bears live in one of the harshest environments on Earth, the Arctic ice. Here, there are no trees to hide behind, and very few humans to build a genetic fear of. In the Arctic, if something moves, it is either a threat or food. And since almost nothing can threaten a 1,500-pound bear, they default to the latter. To a polar bear, you are just a strange-looking seal. They don't have the luxury of being picky. In their world, a missed meal can mean death by starvation. Then we have the saltwater crocodile. These are not just animals. They are prehistoric biological machines. Crocodiles don't experience fear or respect the way mammals do. They operate on a purely territorial and opportunistic level. They have been hunting the same way for 65 million years. They don't care about your technology or your status. If you enter their strike zone, you trigger an ancient ambush reflex. They aren't hunting you because they hate you. They are hunting you because you are in the water, and they are the kings of the water. Part 3. The hunger override. The making of a man-eater. Perhaps the most terrifying aspect of animal behavior is the hunger override. This is when a normal animal, one that would usually run from humans, decides that the reward of eating you is worth the risk of attacking you. History is filled with stories of man-eaters, like the Savo lions or the leopards of Rudraprayag. Scientists have identified 3 main triggers for this shift. Physical infirmity. When a predator becomes too old, too slow, or loses its teeth, it can no longer chase down a gazelle or a zebra. It turns to the slowest prey available, humans. We are, physically speaking, one of the weakest creatures in the wild. Habitat overlap. As human cities expand, we push animals out of their territory. When a tiger's natural prey disappears because of deforestation, it is forced to look at livestock and, eventually, the people tending them. Once a predator realizes how easy it is to take down a human, that ancient genetic fear vanishes instantly. The predatory response. Sometimes we trigger the hunt ourselves. If you turn your back on a cougar and run, you aren't acting like a predator anymore. You are acting like prey. Their brain switches from caution to chase in a fraction of a second. This is why survival experts tell you, never turn your back. Part 4. The Science of Dominance. Eye contact. One of the most debated topics in my comments was eye contact. Does it save you or does it doom you? The answer depends entirely on the animal's social structure. For ambush predators like leopards or tigers, eye contact is a powerful deterrent. These cats rely on the element of surprise. If you look them directly in the eye, you are communicating that their cover is blown. You are showing them that you are an alert prey or even a competitor. Most of the time, this makes them hesitate and seek an easier target. However, for social or highly aggressive predators like grizzly bears or African lions, staring can be a fatal mistake. In their world, a direct, prolonged stare is a challenge for dominance. You aren't saying, "I see you." You are saying, "I am going to fight you." And against 600 pounds of muscle and claw, that is a fight you will not win. Survival isn't just about strength. It's about knowing the social etiquette of the species you are facing. The conclusion, a brutal reality. In the end, the wild doesn't operate on mercy or malice. It operates on energy and risk. Most animals leave us alone because we are a bad investment. We are strange, we look dangerous, and we aren't worth the potential injury. But the moment that balance shifts, due to hunger, desperation, or territoriality, the thin veil of safety we imagine around ourselves disappears. Nature is a beautiful masterpiece, but never forget that it is also a graveyard. Respect the wild, keep your distance, and always remember, in the eyes of a predator, you are only as safe as their last meal. In my next video, we are exploring a chilling phenomenon. Why do predators react with extreme aggression to the sound of a human baby crying? Is it a hunting trigger or something far more disturbing? Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that deep dive. Stay curious, stay alert, and I'll see you in the next one.